The laughter started before she even reached her seat. It was not loud at first, just quiet chuckles and whispers that followed her through the hallway like a shadow. The girl kept walking, eyes fixed straight ahead, pretending she did not hear them. She had learned how to do that a long time ago. Her jacket hung loosely on her small frame, its color washed out from years of careful use. To her, it was comfort. To them, it was an excuse. She slid into her chair near the back, shoulders slightly hunched, hoping to disappear. Someone muttered a comment about the jacket looking older than the building. Another voice added a laugh that felt sharper than the rest. A few students glanced over, some amused, some uncomfortable, most choosing silence because it was easier. The girl's fingers tightened around the fabric near her wrist. She did not respond. Never did. What they did not know was how many nights she had wrapped that jacket around herself when the world felt too heavy. It had been given to her by her grandfather, a man whose stories were filled with discipline, sacrifice, and quiet honor. He had worn that jacket during moments he never talked about in detail. When he passed, it was the one thing she asked to keep. Not for style or strength. The small patch sewn onto the shoulder was worn but intact. It meant something specific, something earned, something that could not be bought or replaced. To her, it was a reminder to stand tall even when others tried to shrink her. In that room, it was invisible. All they saw was faded fabric and an easy target. The door at the front of the room opened, drawing little attention at first. A man stepped inside, posture straight, presence calm but commanding. His uniform was simple, clean, and unmistakable. Conversation softened as people noticed him. He was a general, invited to speak later that day, though most did not recognize him immediately. As he scanned the room, his eyes moved slowly, taking everything in. Then they stopped. His gaze settled on the girl in the back, on the jacket, on the patch. His expression changed in a way few noticed, but it was there. Recognition, memory, respect. The girl felt the shift before she understood it. The laughter faded. The whispers died out. The room grew still, and for the first time that day, she lifted her head slightly, unaware that everything was about to change. The general did not speak right away. He stood near the doorway longer than necessary, eyes still fixed on the small patch stitched into the faded fabric. To anyone else, it might have looked ordinary. To him, it was unmistakable, a symbol tied to long nights, hard choices, and people who never asked to be praised. His jaw tightened as memories surfaced, not painful ones, but heavy ones. The room shifted as students straightened in their seats. The earlier confidence of the laughter dissolved into uncertainty. A few glanced back at the girl, then at the men in uniform, trying to connect dots they did not yet understand. The girl felt her heartbeat slow, then race again. She sensed a tension, but not the kind she was used to. This felt different, unsettling. Quiet. The general took a few steps forward. Each one seemed deliberate. The sound of his shoes against the floor echoed in the silence. He stopped a few rows away from the girl and looked around the room before speaking. His voice was calm, steady, not raised, yet it carried easily. He asked a simple question about respect. No names, no accusations, just a question. No one answered. Some stared at their desks, others shifted uncomfortably. He nodded as if he expected that response. Then his eyes returned to the jacket. He spoke about symbols and how people often overlook them. They judge what they see on the surface and miss what truly matters. As he talked, his tone remained measured, but every word felt intentional. The girl listened closely, unsure why her chest felt tight. Then he gestured gently toward her, not pointing, not singling her out harshly, just enough for everyone to understand. He explained what the patch represented, where it came from, the kind of service and sacrifice tied to it. He spoke of courage without drama, of honor without pride. The room was silent now in a way that felt heavy. Faces changed. Smiles vanished. A few students swallowed hard. The jacket was no longer just old fabric. It carried a story they had never bothered to imagine. The girl felt warmth rise behind her eyes, but she kept her composure. She had always known the value of that patch. Hearing it spoken aloud by someone who understood gave it new weight. For the first time, she sat a little straighter, hands relaxed, shoulders steady. As the truth finally filled the room, the general finished speaking and let the silence sit for a moment longer. He did not rush it. He understood the power of stillness, how it forces people to sit with what they have heard. Then he turned fully toward the girl and offered a small nod. It was not pity. It was recognition. The kind shared between people who understand responsibility and legacy. He asked her, gently, who the jacket had belonged to. Voice was quiet at first, but steady. Spoke of her grandfather, of how he never bragged, never complained, and never talked about what he endured. She told them how the jacket was all she had left that made her feel close to him, especially on days when the world felt unkind. No one interrupted, no one laughed. The general listened carefully. When she finished, he thanked her. Then he addressed the room again, not with anger, but with clarity. Spoke about dignity, about how character is revealed and how people treat those who seem different or vulnerable. He reminded them that every person carries a story, whether it is visible or not. Eyes lowered around the room. Some faces showed regret. Others showed something new, an understanding they had not reached before. The earlier comments felt distant now, small and embarrassing. Jacket had not changed the way they saw it had. When the bell finally rang, no one rushed out. A few students approached the girl, awkward at first, offering quiet apologies. She accepted them without triumph, without resentment. She had never needed their approval, but she welcomed the shift. As the general prepared to leave, he paused beside her one last time. He told her to keep wearing the jacket with pride, not because of what others thought, but because it reminded her who she came from. She smiled, a real smile, and nodded. That day, the faded jacket walked out of the room differently. Not because it looked new, but because respect had finally caught up with the story it carried.